Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's session on GST Simplified and TallyPrime 2.0. My name is Ayush Srivastava from Tally Solutions, and I welcome you all to this event. Today, we have with us CA Vinodh Kothari, who is a partner at Vinodh Kothari and Company, Chartered Accountants, Chennai, having over 12 years of experience in India. He is an expert in the field of indirect taxes. He is also a visiting faculty at the SIRC of ICI Department and National Academy of Customs, Excise and Narcotics. He has trained more than 15,000 CA students and professionals on GST, Tally, Excel, and Google Suite. He is the president at the Association of Chartered Accountants, Chennai, and a committee member of International Chamber of Indirect Tax Professionals. I welcome you, sir, and he will be taking us through today's topic on GST Simplified in TallyPrime 2.0. Before we begin, I would request all our attendees to please post their questions in the Q&A box, and we will be taking them up in the Q&A section. So before further ado, I would request Vinodh sir to take over. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ayush, for your introduction, and thank you, Tally, for giving me this opportunity. Tally has been there for almost 3 decades, and I have been using Tally for almost 2.5 decades. So over the period of years, that is from the last 25 years, starting from Tally 4.5 to TallyPrime, lot of changes has happened in Tally. Today, Tally has developed more towards online system rather than the offline system. Earlier, I was feeling that this feature would be, if it was there in Tally, that would be good. That feature, that would be good. But those things were missing. But now, after TallyPrime, lot of things have been changed. Tally has made a sea change from Tally ERP 9 to TallyPrime. And this is what we are going to see today, 2-3 aspects of TallyPrime regarding the GST and the auditing part, which we use in our day-to-day life. Since July, to hope my voice is audible and clear. Any problem in that voice?
All perfect, sir.
Fine. So Tally, if you see TallyPrime 2.0, they have made some changes like save view, go to screen, and all those changes. And the most big change for me is that real-time generation of the e-invoice and e-way bill. So today's topic will be a major focus on the GST aspects of Tally and the auditing aspects. One important aspect to all the participants who have joined here is that this is not a training program. This is just a brief preview of what and all you can do and how you can simplify your day-to-day accounting work in Tally. That is what we are going to focus more, rather than explaining in detail how to do it. So our main intention in the next 1.5 hours is that to make you aware that these things are possible in Tally. So this is what is our today's content. Let me share the PPT first, just a second. So these are the 3 things we are going to see. Since July 2017, GST was implemented. And I can still remember that since July 2017, the work of accountant and chartered accountants has been increased. Only the work I am talking, because we see that a lot of things has become online. Earlier, things were offline and online mix was there. So we had a lot of options to do and work, and certain controls were not there. But once GST was implemented in 2017, everything has become online. That means what? Starting from the registration of the GST till the return filing, till the annual return filing, till the cancellation, anything in GST is being made online. Now, online means what? Even the now they have made mandatory the invoicing also to be done in the GST portal. It is not invoicing. Invoicing will be done in your system, but invoice reference number has to be generated. That is the e-invoice to be generated in Tally. And I will tell you that that the way department is going on today, e-invoicing is mandatory only for those whose aggregate turnover is more than 50 crores. But in the next 2-3 years, I foresee that the e-invoicing will be made mandatory for all those registered dealers whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crores. And once this comes into the picture, Tally will be very, very helpful for this purpose. Now, what is that simplification Tally has made for the purpose of GST? Just and certain important things which out of my last 25 years of experience in using Tally for the purpose of statutory compliance or the TDS or the GST, which I have practically experienced, I'm going to share with you so that it can be helpful for you also. Now, new things which they have added in Prime is that one anywhere access. Now, what is this anywhere access? Is earlier we can access your Tally data. You can access your Tally data only by using the remote option. But in TallyPrime, they have given you a simplified method where in your mobile phone or in your laptop using the browser, you can access your report. So if your staff is saying that I have generated the invoice, you are outside somewhere and you want to check the invoice immediately, you can log into this your Tally website portal, and there your company is connected. In the browser, you can view all the reports, invoice data, whatever is being generated by your staff, and give your confirmation. Second new development which TallyPrime 2.0 has done is the instant generation of e-way bill and e-invoicing. Next view important change which they have added is the save view option. This I have been waiting for many times that such option should be there, because as a chartered accountant, we regularly have to audit the books of accounts of the clients or see reports in a specified format, maybe columnar format or maybe in any specified format. Every time what we used to do or you used to do is that we go to display, trial balance, then press to F12, yes, 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 and then what are the options we select, and then we proceed our work. But with the save view option, whatever report you are viewing in the Tally, you can save that view, and in future when you want to open the same report, same method, how do you want to view, that can be viewed. So this is not only for that company, you can make it common across all the companies, or you can make it specific across all the companies. These options have been available there in the Tally Save View option. And the new feature which is added in this Tally is 2.0 nowadays. From 1st April 2021, it has been mandatory that all the registered dealers should mandatory mention the HSN code or the SAC code in the invoice. So earlier the limit was that if your aggregate turnover is less than 1.5 crores, then HSN code is not mandatory. 1.5 crores to 5 crores, then first 2 digit of HSN code was mandatory. Then more than 5 crores, first 4 digit HSN code was mandatory. But from 1st April 2021, GST department has made it mandatory that all the registered dealer in all their invoices should mention the HSN code, 4 digit for less than 5 crores and 6 digit for more than 5 crores aggregate turnover. Now, what happens when this comes into implementation? Today, many cases we see that the HSN code is not matching. When it comes to purchase, one HSN code is there. When it comes to sales, another HSN code is there. So same product, different HSN code is there. So where to verify and validate what is the HSN code details as per the GST portal. In TallyPrime, they are giving you an option that whenever you create a inventory item, at that point of time, you can verify the HSN code data as per the GST portal, for which separate link is being provided. Then we have entry-wise report, error report is also already provided there, and that is have been more better in this TallyPrime 2.0. Then we are going to see how Tally Prime will help you to reconcile to a, though it is not inbuilt, but using some Excel options, I'm going to suggest you how you can do it. The biggest last part where everyone is facing trouble is the monthly GST closure entries, which we are going to see. This is the overview of what we are going to see in the Tally GST portal, GST part in Tally Prime. Now, before this, just a second. Yeah. So before starting this part, I would like to make you understand that from any company, in any company where you are preparing the GST books of accounts, those many things are automated. Certain things are very, very important where you need to take care, which many of the accountants miss. When tally data is sent to us for the purpose of filing the returns, we often find that everyone is following their own methodology and they are confusing the total setup of tally itself, and things go haywire while filing the GST returns. So certain things you need to take care while preparing for the GST accounts. That is what we are going to see initially. First thing which you need to ensure is that while creating any ledger, whether it is a debtor ledger or whether it is a creditor ledger or whether it is a duties and taxes ledger, you have to ensure that the GST link is provided correctly. Many places I have seen that the GST number is provided, but when we search or file the GSTR1, it is showing that invalid GST number is there. So whenever data entry is done, the accountant has to ensure that while typing the GST number, he has to ensure that the GST number is typed correctly. Otherwise, Tally will display a message that GST number is wrong. So two things are important here. One is that the state code and the GST number should match. So now I have given a wrong GST number. So automatically what Tally does is it will identify and tell you that you have provided a wrong GST number. You have to ensure that the GST number is provided correctly, else you will find trouble at the time of filing the GST return. So once this correct entry is passed, then automatically this is done. Second important thing is that how do you maintain the duties and taxes ledger? This is where many of the accountants confuse. I see that they create so many ledgers for the GST. One is that they create sales 18% IGST, then sales local 18%, then sales 5%, then sales 28%. So for sales, so many ledgers they create. For purchase, so many ledgers they create. Again, for input tax, IGST input tax 18%, CGST input tax 9%, CGST SGST input tax 9%, CGST input tax 2.5%. So many ledgers are created. So as far as my suggestion is that I would tell you best option is that if you want, you can create separate ledgers rate wise for the sales and purchase. That is an option for you. Though Tally, there is no requirement that you should maintain separate rate-wise ledger. Internally in the GST report, you get the rate-wise breakup. But in spite of that, some companies say that, no, we want it separately. Sales and purchase ledger can be maintained in a separate rate-wise ledger. But when it comes to duties and taxes ledger, the best practice which I have seen and which is very comfortable is that always create only 6 duties and taxes ledger. One is your CGST input, SGST input, IGST input, CGST output, SGST output, and IGST output. This makes things better. Why? Because once you create the sales or purchase rate wise, automatically you can find out what is the duties and taxes value. But When you create multiple rates of duties and taxes ledger, then reconciliation becomes very, very difficult. So this suggestion will help you to create the ledgers correctly and then pass the entries correctly, and it will help you to maintain the books of accounts also easily. Many places where reconciliation is done, I find that the rate of taxes, duties and taxes ledger, they create so many ledgers, then reconciliation becomes more difficult. So this is one part I thought that in the ledger creation, you have to take care. Next, while passing the voucher entry, one has to ensure that the tax is calculated automatically. If tax is not calculated automatically, never provide the values manually, and always check the tax analysis option to ensure that whatever working is there, it is done correctly. So these are the few things which I thought that we have to ensure that whenever an accounting part is done in Tally, the master, the foundation should be correct. Many places accountant create a ledger in so much haste that they forget to provide the details correctly, and then later on in the month end or year end, lot of troubles are created. Now we come to the online generation of e-way bill in Tally. So in Tally, if you see, earlier we had Tally ERP 9. In Tally ERP 9, we had the option to generate e-way bill. Now, what is e-way bill? E-way bill is a documentary evidence for the purpose of transportation of the goods from one place to another. So earlier, we used to give the DC and the lorry receipt, but later on, after the VAT regime, some states adopted the way bill, e-way bill concept, which was same implemented in the GST also. So it is mandatory that whenever goods value more than 50,000 or 1 lakh is for intrastate supply, 50,000 is for interstate supply. Some states have interstate supply of 1 lakh value, then e-way bill should be generated. In Tally ERP 9, what was the trouble we were facing? We raised the invoice, then e-way bill we are generating in Tally ERP 9. Then what we do? We export the file to a JSON file, then go to the website, log in into the website of the e-way bill portal, then upload the JSON file, and then generate the e-way bill. So this was a tedious process. It will take certain times. Sometimes the accountant will forget to generate the e-way bill or export the wrong file, select the wrong file. These troubles were there in Tally ERP 9. So in TallyPrime 2.0, what they have added is two things they have made real time. One is the e-way bill, and second is the e-invoice, which has been made real time. Real time means what? Whenever you pass a sales entry, at that point of time itself, automatically e-way bill can be generated. So that option is provided in the Tally ERP 9. For this, you need to make a setup initially. You have to go to F11. In the F11, select the company and ensure that you are selecting the show all features as yes. Then you have to go to the GST part and then select enter. So which state you are, your GST number, all these details you have to provide. This part is also very, very important for the purpose of GST simplification. You have to clearly specify what is applicable to your client or to your company. Based on that, you need to select the details correctly. So only once you activate this e-way bill applicable as yes and provide the details, e-way bill will be activated in your system. And same way, if for your company e-invoice is applicable, then you have to provide these details as yes and provide the details. Now, there are two types of companies. One is supply of goods only. Second is either supply of services or supply of services and goods. When it comes to services, if advance is received, then they are liable for GST. So you have to ensure that in case you are a service provider, you have to ensure that the advance enable tax liability on advance receipt is enabled if you are receiving advance. then only GST will be calculated. Otherwise, GST on advance will not be calculated. And if RCM is applicable, you have to ensure that you activate this enable tax liability on reverse charge basis as yes, and then only reverse charge will be activated. So for the purpose of online e-way bill, what you need to do, you need to activate this. This is the first step. Next step in the e-way bill activation is that you have to do certain validation in the e-way bill portal. Just a second, I'll share this one. So for the purpose of e-way bill, we have to first register in the e-way bill portal using your GST user ID and password. Then in that you have to choose Tally as your GSP provider. So we are going to the e-way bill portal. In the e-way bill portal, you have your registration. In the registration, you have to select, if you are already not registered, then you have to select e-way bill registration. Once you select e-way bill registration, provide your GST number and provide the security code. Then it will provide your company details. Check whether the company details are correct. If it is correct, then click to send OTP. Once OTP is sent, then provide the OTP and your e-way bill portal registration is completed. Now, once e-way bill portal registration is completed, again go to the e-way bill portal and select login. In the login, provide your username and password which you have created. So the next step in this is that one thing you need to understand is that Tally is a GST Suvidha provider. Now, GST Suvidha provider means it is a authorized from the GST department to connect the data from their server to the GST portal. So for connecting the data from Tally to the GST portal, we have to give the Tally rights to access our data. For this purpose, we need to link the Tally as a GST Suvidha provider for our Tally data purpose. For this, again, log in to the portal, provide your e-way bill login, which we have just created now, and then go to home. In the home page, left hand side, you can see there is registration. So this registration you have to click. And here you can find for GSP. So once you select for GSP, again, one OTP will be sent. Then only your Tally will be registered as GST Suvidha provider. So once you receive the OTP, provide the OTP and then verify. Then select add new. So this is only single time operation which you need to do. Why we are doing this? We are giving the Tally the right to access our data and provide the data to the GST portal for the purpose of generation of e-way bill or e-invoice. So here you select Tally, then automatically username will be created. You only need to create some last 3 characters. And provide a password. Now, one thing here, there are 2 passwords here. One password is for the purpose of logging to the e-way bill portal. Second password is that which you are giving for the purpose of access to Tally to the accessing your data and transferring to the e-way bill portal. And then select and add. Now, by this, your process is completed for the purpose of registration. So this is the process. Since I cannot take it live because I have to take own company and then do it, which is not practically possible. That is the reason I have selected the video for you to explain so that it becomes more easier for you to understand. Now, how to generate the e-way bill? Go to when you pass your sales entry, you provide all the sales details. So this part is a common part, providing your stock details, value, everything. Then you get the option of provide e-way bill details. If you want to generate now, there are two options in Tally. One, if you want to generate e-way bill instantly, then select yes. Else, if you want to generate the e-way bill later on, you select no, and later on also bulk e-way bill can be generated from Tally. So both the options are available. Either generate single or double, both the options are available. So provide the details of the part A. E-way bill has two parts. One is part A and part B. So this part provide the bill-wise reference, and now it is done. Now, do you want to generate your e-way bill? Now, since we have already activated e-way bill, next we have registered our e-way bill and Tally a GSP in our portal. Now you can generate. Provide the login. Already I have said there are two login. One login is for logging into the e-way bill portal. Second login is for the activating the Tally GSP Suvidha provider. You have to provide the first login user ID password for this purpose. So provide your e-way bill login user ID and password for the purpose of generation of e-way bill online. So one time you provide this user ID password, automatically next time it will be saved and you can e-way bill is generated. So hardly if you see 30 seconds or more, depending upon your internet speed, the e-way bill is generated. So once e-way bill is generated, your invoice along with the e-way bill, you can take the printout. So now your e-way bill is generated. You can see here message is there, e-way bill generated successfully. So now if you want, you can take the printout, print. You can see this is the invoice, and the second page will contain the e-way bill. So this is a big relief for almost all the traders, since time is being saved. Pass the invoice entry, generate the e-invoice, and then it is done. So this is one part of the e-invoicing. Apart from this, you have various options in the e-invoice. Once you go to the display statutory report and GST report, you have this e-way bill details. You can see what and all details are there. So I'll provide for full year 1/4/21. So many e-way bills have been generated in this. So all the options are available in the right hand side. You can see if you want to get the e-way bill information, you can click on F6. If you want to update part B. Now, what is this part B? In the GST, in e-way bill, in case there is a change in vehicle or change in transportation from different modes, say from first you are taking the vehicle in a lorry, then you are transporting that vehicle in by railway, then again from railway you are transporting the material from lorry, and then it is reaching the destination. Every change or change mode in transport, you have to update part B. Or the vehicle is being repaired and you are changing the vehicle number has to be updated in part B. So you can also apply for extension, you can cancel the e-way bill. All those options are available in this. So this e-way bill option has made more simpler the process for the traders and GST compliance. Then again, same way you have an option to generate even the e-invoicing in Tally. That is only for the part of limited registered dealers whose aggregate turnover is more than 50 lakhs. So just I'll show you the sample of how the e-way bill e-invoice is generated. So once e-invoice is generated, your QR code is being automatically printed on the screen along with the IRN number, which is the invoice reference number. One thing here I would like to state that some of the people are confused that e-invoicing means that we need to generate the invoice online. No, e-invoice means generating the invoice reference number. Same way e-way bill is generating the e-way bill reference number. The invoice is generated in your own system. Only the reference number is generated from the G-way bill e-invoice portal. So this is with regard to the e-way bill and e-invoice. Any doubt, if anyone has one or two doubts, we will take. Otherwise, we'll continue to the next part. What is the penalty for non-compliance of e-way bill vehicle seized by? Okay, okay, this is not part of the session. Anyway, I'll tell you that whenever e-way bill is not generated, they will ask equal amount of taxes or equal value of the goods also. It depends upon the how it is, whether it is a fraud or a willful or by mistake you have not generated, that plus equal amount of penalty will be charged. Once we set the item code and its GST rate, should we leave the rate blank in the ledger created under duties and taxes? Okay, very good question. This I missed out. See, in Tally, when it comes to the GST rate, where and all we can put the GST rate. So there are three places you can provide the GST rate in Tally. One is in the sale or the purchase ledger. Second is in the duties and taxes ledger. Third is in the inventory items. So you have to be careful. Don't mix up the system that providing the inventory rate or rate in the inventory also, rate in the ledger also, that is the sales ledger or the purchase ledger, or the GST rate in the duties and taxes ledger also. So always follow one method. What is your method of accounting? Whether the GST rate is provided in the inventory or in the ledger. So if the GST rate is provided in the inventory, then never provide the GST rate in the ledger, whether it is duties and taxes ledger or in the sales or purchase ledger. Because if you make mistake, certain times you will get trouble and the Tally will miscalculate the tax. So always it is better that if you are a trader, then always provide the GST rate in the inventory only. That will be the best method. Why? I will tell you. If you provide the GST rate in the ledger, then in Tally you have to create multiple ledgers. Say for example, if I am making an intrastate local sales, then I have to create sales local one ledger. If I am making an interstate supply, then sales interstate one ledger. If I am making a export, then sales export one ledger. If I maintain the tax rate in the inventory, then one sale ledger is enough. So it is suggested that whenever you are using the Tally for the purpose of GST, don't get confused. Three places rates can be provided. One, inventory. Second is the ledger, that is the sales or the purchase ledger. Third is the duties and taxes. If you are a trader and using the inventory, provide the GST rate only in the inventory. Don't provide the rate in the duties and taxes or in the sales or the purchase ledger. If you are a service provider, then provide the rate in the sales ledger. Don't provide in the duties and taxes ledger. Hope I am clear in this part. So now we come to the next part. We have seen this e-way bill generation. Next is again HSN validation, which is there in the Tally part. If you go to the display static. So here you can find the GST rate setup. Since login ID is not there, I'm unable to show you the value. But anyway, the option is that once you go to the inventory part, you have this inventory. If you want to check whether this HSN code for the laptop is correct or not, in the right hand side you can see get HSN or SAC code. Once you provide S, it will ask you for the e-way bill login user ID and password details. Provide the value and then automatically it will provide you for this HSN code. This is the description which is provided in the GST portal. Now, next important thing is that in case your accountant has made a mistake in the tally while providing or creating the GST ledger. Just a second. Now, in case there is any mistake in the ledger creation or any mistake in the any mistake in the passing of voucher entry or any mistake in not providing the details related to the GST part, how to verify whether what is the mistake done by your accountant, by yourself if you are passing the accounts. So here Tally has given a wonderful option for this. If you go to either GSTR1 or GSTR3B, that is display statutory report, GSTR1 or GSTR3B, then there you will find that in the screen itself, they give you an option. What are the total number of vouchers? How many vouchers are included in the return? Just a second, okay. So this is the screen which I was talking about. In case any mistake is being made at the time of ledger creation or at the time of passing the entry, how to find out what is the rectification to be made. So this screen is very important screen to find out what are all errors which has been made at the time of passing the GST vouchers or calculation purpose. So included in return. So 478, total number of vouchers is 1324, included in return is 478, included in HSN summary is 477. One information is incomplete, correction needed. Again, you press enter. So what has happened? In one stock item, HSN code is not created. So once you rectify this, in future, whatever is the ledger same issues, all those will be rectified. So first thing you need to ensure that this part, that is the total 478, which is included in return, is also included in HSN and SAC summary. And in case there is any uncertain transaction, that means Tally is unable to identify that these transaction may be part of GST or may not be part of the GST, which you have to decide, or some error may be there. So you need to find out whether this is correct. Now this part here, if you see, there is a difference between the calculation as per the GST record, that is 28% is 24,194, and as per transaction is 25,528. So don't ignore these mistakes. Ensure that you check these entries and find out what the mistake is and rectify these errors. So here again, for the purpose of generating table, some details are not provided, whether it is B2B or B2C. One more thing, while creating the ledgers, ensure that if a person is unregistered or if a person is consumer, a debtor or a creditor, then select the appropriate type. Otherwise, these error you will get quite often. So this is the error report which you need to ensure to take in the account and rectify it. So if you do this for first 6 months, gradually, if you see, your error will reduce. So this is what one practice which you need to do for the purpose of better GST return filing part. Next part is the most troublesome area in the whole GST, that is the 2A reconciliation. Now, what is the challenge which we are facing in the 2A reconciliation? One is that we are unable to map the data as per Tally along with the data which is available in the portal. So we have our 2A data in the portal, which we download from the portal and keep it in Excel. Then we have our Tally data. But again, in Tally data, what is the challenge which we face? See, in Tally data, if you go to the purchase register or the sales register, So if you go to the purchase register or the sales register, in purchase register, those entries which are passed in the purchases, that only will be reflected. We pass certain expenses in the journal, those ledgers are not reflecting. Now, for the purpose of 2A reconciliation, what is required? We need one table of data where we have all our inward supplies with the date or with the invoice number, with the party name, with the party GST number, with the taxable value, with the total value, with the CGST, SGST, IGST as per our books of accounts. Now, this data should be mapped and matched with the GSTR 2A as per the online. Now, how to do this reconciliation? Normally, the method which we adopt is that we don't do reconciliation invoice to invoice. First level reconciliation, never do invoice to invoice reconciliation. Always do a reconciliation based on the first GST number wise reconciliation. Why? If you start your 2A reconciliation from the invoice number wise, you will waste lot of time. When you start your reconciliation from in GST number wise, then what happens is the total value of the input as per your books of account for one GST with the 2A that you map, you will find that your 20% of the creditors only will have a problem, 80% will have only minor problem. So you can focus more on the bigger areas than focusing on the smaller area. So which is that area in Tally which will provide me the full summary of all the inward supplies where GST input I have claimed? Can anyone tell me one area in Tally where I can get a summary of invoice wise inward supply details, whether I pass in journal, whether I pass in purchase, wherever I pass? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? One area in Tally where I can get, no, it is not stock summary. See, your expenses you never put in inventory. Yes, GSTR 2A summary. So one area where you can get all your inward supply details in the Tally, I'm talking not about the portal, is your display reports. Go to your display reports, statutory report, and there you have your GST report. In GST, you have your GSTR 2. This is one area where you will find that, say, 180. This is the one area in Tally where you will find all your inward supplies which you have passed along with the GST input ledger. That is what I am telling, not the all your journal entries. All those entries where you have passed the input, whether it is journal or it is the purchase register, all the details. So this will be the first helpful thing for the purpose of 2A reconciliation. So in 2A reconciliation, already I have said that you have to do the reconciliation based on the GST number. So how can you summarize your report in Tally, though it is not available? But one place where you can get this report is your 2. So ensure that your mismatch information and all is rectified, and then use this data. So I'll go to this B2B invoice. I get this data. This is again party wise. Either you can use this data and then your 2A data which you have downloaded from the GST portal, that you can use the pivot table and generate similar kind of report. Use VLOOKUP, map this GST number wise data, you will find the difference. It takes us hardly 15 to 20 minutes in my office. If I include the download time, maximum half an hour after downloading, then creating this report, checking this report, exporting to Excel, creating a pivot table. If it is he's an expert, maximum 10 to 15 minutes, otherwise half an hour. You can get the difference GST number wise input as per your books and as per your returns. Then what we do is we send this report to our client stating that as per your books, these and all our inputs are available. As per the 2A, the input available is this. This is the difference. Same way, as per 2A, these and all are available. As per books, this is available. This is the difference. And then they have to provide us the difference. If they ask us to do us, then we go to the invoice level and do the verification. So this is what is the 2A reconciliation, which you can use. This report will be very, very useful for the purpose of doing this 2A reconciliation. So I think someone has raised a hand. We will take some questions on this and then we will go to this part. One minute. I will just unmute this. Okay, any doubts you can ask me. I think some issue is there in this.
They can always post in the chat box.
Yeah. So if any doubt, you can post in the chat box. I think Anuradha has raised some query. How to import data Excel to Tally? Okay. To import data from Excel to Tally directly, it is not possible. There are some third-party software or TDL you can use for the purpose of importing the data from Excel to Tally. If you use that option, that can be there. In Tally also, import option is there, but that is little complicated, not so much easy for you to understand because you need to understand the data structure and all. But best way, there are TDLs available. You can use those TDLs and then export the data from Excel to Tally. Okay, fine. We'll proceed next to the next part, the most important part, where many of us are getting trouble. The closing entries in the GST. See, one challenge which I have faced in the last when it was a VAT regime, that was that the mapping of the GST payable with the returns. See, biggest challenge today as accountant or as chartered accountant or as GST consultant, what we are facing. Every month we receive the data in Tally. We see the data in Tally, prepare the GST return, file the return. Then what happens? We again receive the next month data. Sometimes our client or our accountant passed the entry in the previous month or the earlier months. We are unable to find out those entries. Sometimes some entries are deleted. Sometimes some mistakes are happening. We are unable to track those mistakes. And in the year end, when we do the annual return filing, then we find out that these mistakes has happened. You give me any Tally data, I will tell you. You give me any Tally data for GST. I will pass some 24 or 12 to 24 entries depending upon how the data is maintained. And after passing this 12 to 24 data, I can tell you the difference as per the books and as per the returns. How? By passing this closing entry. I call this 12 magical entries to track ITC. Why and how it is, I am just going to show you so that you can understand this. If you use this and if you ask your accountant to pass this entry, I'll tell you automatically every month your reconciliation will be done automatically with minimum efforts. Today, again, while filing the GST returns, we are facing a big problem of 2B. What is this 2B? A dangerous report for every accountant. Why? Because you have some purchases or inward supplies or input credit as per your books of accounts, but you are allowed to claim the input tax credit, which is available in 2B. Again, that 2B data you need to check whether what is eligible, what is ineligible, what you can claim, what you cannot claim, and then you claim the input tax credit. What is the challenge here? This month I have input tax credit of 1 lakh rupees. In my 2B, the input tax credit is 80,000. So I am restricted to take only 80,000 as my input tax credit. So 20,000, what happens? I have not claimed this month. Why? Because it is not reflecting in my GSTR2B. Then what I will do? I will claim this input in the next month. So in the next month, what happens? Again, out of this 20,000, only 10,000 is reflecting. So again, that much difference is also there. So much of confusion in the ledger account, you are unable to find out which is the missed input, which is not missed input. So the best method is to follow this method. How to use this method? Now, this method is that simple. What I am doing is, whatever is your output tax and whatever is your input tax, as per the returns. Very careful. I have seen that many people pass the GST closing entry, many accountants pass the GST closing entry, but they don't pass as per the GST return, but they pass as per the books of accounts, which is wrong. To follow this method, very simple. First principle is that take your GSTR3B. In the GSTR3B, you have a data. What is your output? CGST output, SGST output, IGST output. Then you have your input, CGST input, SGST input, IGST input. So whatever is your input, output, as per your GST return, you pass the entry. So in 1 month, whatever is my input, I will pass this entry. When I will pass, I have to pass this entry in the month end. Say I am filing the return for the month of April. When I will file this return on 20th May. So after filing the 3B, what I have to do, this 3B data, I have to pass this entry on the 30th of April in the month end for which we are verifying the 3B. That month end, you have to pass this entry. What entry? Debit all the output, credit all the input, and the balance. If GST is payable, you can create GST payable or carry forward. Otherwise, by GST payable or carry forward. Here, choice is yours. If you want, you can create CGST payable, SGST payable. That will be very, very complicated. I don't use this method. Simplify it, or you can use bill-wise details to provide the breakup of CGST, SGST, and IGST. For RCM transfer entries, I'm not talking much because we have time restriction. So what happens once I pass this entry? So first, this entry has to be passed in the month end, looking at the 3B data. Sorry, I think 1 minute. One of my slide is missing. Just a second. Just a second. Sorry for interruption. Okay. So this is what I was talking about, that once it comes that you pass the entry, what happens? See, our mind is very tricky. Our mind is very tricky. We cannot remember random numbers. So we have to train our mind. So what I am doing is, once I pass the entry as per the returns, if it is matching with my books of accounts, what will happen? My duties and taxes ledger will look like this: 0, 0, 0, 0. If everything is 0, then you are a hero. But practically, this doesn't happen. Maybe duties and in output ledger will be like this, but input ledger will not be there. What I am doing is, I am transferring whatever output you have transferred in the GST return to the GST payable ledger to ensure that my output is matching with the GST return. This means what? Everything is matching with the GST return. If it is not matching, then what will happen? See, say for example, in this case, my input tax is 2 lakh rupees, but my GST return, I have claimed only 1,76,000 rupees. How much I did not claim? That means 23,479 I did not claim. So every time, whenever you see this duties and taxes ledger, after passing this entry, if everything is 0, then great. If it is not 0, that means 1. If there is a credit balance in the output tax ledger, that means you have shown less in the return. If there is debit balance in the output tax ledger, that means you have shown more in the return. If there is a debit balance in the input tax ledger, that means that amount you have not claimed. If there is a credit balance in the input tax ledger, that means you have claimed higher. So by this way, what happens? Your duties and taxes ledger is very clear. Whatever is pending in your input and output ledger, that is unclaimed or unpaid, or excess claimed or excess claimed, whatever is there in the GST payable, the closing balance as on March should tally with the GST payable for the month of March. This is what is the closure entry which I am talking about. So hope this is clear. Just a second. So any doubt in this part? We can take few doubts.
I think we do not have any questions right now.
Fine, okay. So this is one part which you can utilize for the purpose of monthly closure entry. And I'll tell you, we get lot of tally data. We use this method, we pass this entry, and immediately we get the difference. I think some participants have raised their hands. Okay, those who have raised hand, some technical problem I am having, unable to unmute you. But later on, once the session, my part is over, then we can take questions. If you are unable to type in the chat box, you can ask the question. I'll reply you this.
I'll just try to unmute them.
So
yeah,
now,
Anuradha madam, you can speak. You can unmute and speak.
Anuradha madam, you had some doubt. Not there. Okay, fine. We'll continue. Once he joins, I will take care of the question. Now, coming to the audit in Tally. Now, everyone wants their verification to be done in the Tally. Mostly auditing is done by the chartered accountants, auditors of that company, but not necessarily that it is restricted only to the auditor. Even the accountants can use the facility of audit in the TallyPrime. So what is this audit facility which TallyPrime 2.0 provides us? That is what we are going to see. Now, what happens is, while passing the voucher entries, certain times accountants may have doubt. What they do, they make a note in the book. That book will not be there, or they will make a note in the Word file or Excel file. That file will be deleted. All these troubles are there. Now, as an accountant or as a chartered accountant, when we do the audit, what we do a lot of analysis and verification in the books of account. And wherever we have query, again, we also prepare a query sheet, or we prepare the query in the Excel, type it in the Excel, and then do the audit, and then get the clarification from the company or the management. Now, what is the problem when we maintain the query in the paper? File is not found, or sometimes file is kept here and there. And when we want to clarify the doubt, at that time file is missing or Excel file is missing. Last year, what were the queries? If I want to see, again, I have to take the last year file and then provide the find out what are the queries and all are there. But in Tally itself, there is an option where you can raise your queries relating to the auditing. You can raise certain points for the purpose of auditing, like related party transaction. So for the purpose of auditing, certain features are given. Earlier we had in auditor's version also this audit and analysis. So for the purpose of auditing, what we need to do is we need to go to the display, and then you have this analysis and verification. So in this you have two parts. One is data analysis and second is the voucher verification. So we'll go to the data analysis. So for the purpose of any audit, see, my focus will be more on the part of auditors part and less on the part of the accountants part, because this is more for the account. But accountant can you also use certain techniques which is there in the Tally for the day-to-day activities also. So the first part, for the purpose of audit in Tally, what you need to do is you need to set up some master configuration. So once again, I'll show you how to go for this auditing part in Tally. You go to the display. First thing is that you should have the user ID and password of any company to generate this auditing part. Then only it will be more beneficial. So go to display. Then in the last, you will find analysis and verification. So here you have this data analysis, and in the right hand side, you can see this master configuration. First thing what you need to see is that which is the audit or analysis period which you are verifying. Here you can see that audit analysis period is financial year 19 20, but I want to do for 17-18 because in this company the data is available for 17-18. So I'm changing the financial year 2017. So be careful that whenever you are doing this auditing part, you may be in that year 17-18 or 18-19. What is the last date of entry? That year only will be visible in this audit. So you need to change the date and then proceed with this auditing part. So in this right hand side, you can see this master configuration. So three configuration you can make here. One is the periodic payment and receipt. Second is the related party. Third is the sampling method. Now, what is these three things? Periodic payment and receipt means what? In auditing, normally what we check is that monthly payments they have made correctly or not. Like say, for example, electricity, 12 payments should be there. Salary, 12 or 13 payments if bonus is there. Then telephone bill, 12, rental, 12. So there are certain ledgers where minimum or maximum these money entries should be there, 12 or whatever it is. So for this, what we can do is we can specify in Tally that these ledger or these ledger are the periodic ledger. That means, say for example, these and all are salary ledger, or the in case of rental, some ledger is a rent account is also a periodic ledger. That means what? In rent, minimum 12 entries should be there. So we don't need to search separately. We can just go to this report. First, we specify all the ledgers that these ledgers are periodic. In a report, we can find, okay, this and all are only 7 entries are there, why 5 entries are missing, and then we can ask this question to our client. Next is the related party transaction. We know the importance of related party transaction in the audit, in the GST, or whatever statutory compliance is there. We can specify the related party transaction in Tally itself. You can select yes or no, so that in the say whether company or related party, so that in the next year also same report is generated, and again every year you don't need to ask, sir, give me related party transaction. Your data is available here. And the third setup is for the purpose of auditing, we specify or we give instruction to our staff that you have to verify these vouchers. So in Tally you can specify the vouchers, what method you need to adopt, whether you want to verify all the vouchers or whether you want to verify vouchers based on the range number, or whether even number, odd number, specified period vouchers. By this, what happens is before the audit itself, you decide and tell that these many vouchers should be verified by the audit team. So this is what each and every voucher type verification sampling we need to do. So this part is available in the master configuration. This is first part. Next part is the verification of the chart of accounts. Now, normally in Tally, if you see over the period of years, so many ledgers are created by our client. If a client is maintaining Tally from last 10 years, what happens? He changes from 10-11 to 11-12, 11-12 to 12-13, 13-14, 14-15 without splitting the company in some cases. In that case, what happens? So many ledgers are there which are useless. So many ledgers are there which are used only in the current year. So many ledgers are there, transactions are there. So these ledgers can be verified here. So accounts squared off during the year. That means these are all the ledgers where accounts are squared off during the year and the balance is 0. These are all the ledgers which are not used. These are all the ledgers which is not used in the current year but used in the previous year. These are all the ledgers where opening balances are there, transactions are not there. These are all the ledgers which are used in the current year. So by this way, the chart of account is classified so that our audit becomes more easier. Why? Say for example, a debtor is having only opening balance, no transaction. Creditor is having only opening balance, no transaction. That means what? That means the amount is either not received or whether it is receivable or not. We can ask the question directly to the client. So once you press enter, you will find here that these are all the ledgers where no entries has been passed, only opening balance. Now motor car is what? Fixed asset. That means what? Depreciation entry is not passed. So you can write a query here. How to write a query here? Raise a query, just select on the enter, on hold depreciation. So this is one query which I have made. Now same way, this for same things I can mention this stock in and VAT refund. What is the nature of this ledger? I have a query. So this way you can raise the query for ledger wise. You can raise the query voucher wise also. Both the options are available. So when you do ledger verification, this will be very, very helpful for you to find out. I use it mostly for the opening balance, no transaction. I create a list and give it to my client. These are the debtors or creditors where no transaction is there. Whether this amount is receivable or not, you give me the confirmation and accordingly I take the action. Same way used in the current year, these and all are ledgers are there. Many options are available. F12 if you press, you will get lot of option. You want to see that what are all the queries you have raised. Select all item. Then here select the primary group, name of the group, show verification note, and show only on hold ledgers. Control A. So here you can see in total ledger verification, these are all the ledgers where you have doubt, and this printout you can give it to your client and take the clarification. So this is one part chart of accounts. Now coming to the verification of balances, that is ledger verification balances are there. You can verify the balances from here to check whether which and all ledger. Again, if you have a query, you can pass. Now in this voucher, I have a query that cash transaction payment more than 20,000 is there or 10,000. So I can raise a query on hold cash payment more than 10,000. This is some query I am writing for the voucher. So this is voucher level query which you can provide. So ledger level query, voucher level query, analysis you can done. Then lot of analytical procedures, pending documents, periodic payment and received. I have already explained what it is. We have selected all these ledgers. In this ledger, you have only 7 entries. In the salary, again 7 entry. In the rent, only 11 entries. Whatever action you can need to take immediately, you can raise a query on this. Then repeated transaction. So many things are there. I'm not going in detail, just to show you what it is. If you want to tag, you know that your client has never works on Sunday. Even you can provide the week transactions which has done in an holiday. That holiday configuration is also possible. Now coming to the verification of the vouchers or the samples which we have selected, Alt F2 A17. So I have shown you the sample selection. So once I select this sample selection, you can see that total number of vouchers are 5,007 vouchers. Out of this, sampled vouchers are 850%, 857, and verified vouchers are 19. So whenever your staff is doing the audit and is raising the query, you will get the update here itself. You don't need to go everywhere and search how much you have done, how much you have not done, all this verification. Just enter. Again, enter. You will get all the vouchers which you need to verify. So if this is verified, just enter verified. If you have a doubt, you can just select external clarification required, whatever query is there. All these things can be provided here. So these are the options available in the audit in Tally. Apart from this, I was talking about the save view option earlier. So I was talking about the save view option. Many times what happens, we go to balance sheet and it is normally not expanded. Since I have activated the save view, it is showing this. So now normally what we do, every time I have to press Alt F1. So what I can do is, instead of this, I keep this option and then select save view, Control L. So I can give my name. I can tell whether this is the default view for the report, additional configuration, yes. Whether this save view is only for this company or all the companies, whatever I want to open, choice is mine. Whether you want for this period or all the periods, that also yes or no you can give. So all these options are available in the save view. Mostly all the reports save view option is there. Every person, every accountant, every chartered accountant has their own methodology of viewing the reports. Say for example, normally whenever I go and see the sales register, display account sales register, I normally I am more comfortable with the columnar format. So every time what I need to do, I need to press F12, F8 and then I used to go to the columnar format. Now what I can do, I can just save my view, save as default view, yes. Additional configuration, yes. Only for this company I need Control A. So next time I want to see the next one, automatically this some mistake. So F8 Control A. Save view, default voucher. Yes. I think some confusion is there. I need to check that. Normally the save view will work in the same manner. And again, you in this tally earlier, if I am working in one place, say I am passing, I am viewing at the balance sheet. Now in the balance sheet, I want to pass a depreciation entry. Normally what I have to do, I have to go outside and then go to voucher and then go to and pass the entry. From here now directly what I can do, I can press Alt G, that is go to. So multiple windows can be opened at same time. So I want to see my saved view of the sales ledger. I can see from here. Or if I want to pass a voucher entry, so I can select create voucher and then pass a voucher. Again, I want to go to balance sheet, again Alt G, and then I can select my show open report. My open report is balance sheet. I can view my report. From here, I want to go and see the the profit and loss account directly. Both the reports I need. Again, go to profit and loss accounts. So multiple reporting, multiple windows can be opened, and toggling between these windows is possible in Tally ERP, TallyPrime 2.0. So this is what is the planned content for our today's session. So, and in the last, one more thing, at present Tally is giving you the option in your own license, that is single license, both ERP 9 and Prime will work. So it is not necessary that once you install Tally Prime, your ERP 9 will not work. Both will work in the same license, same system. That option is available. I still see many people not getting converted to Tally Prime because they feel that no, it will be very troublesome, it will be very difficult. Believe me, Tally Prime is more comfortable than Tally ERP 9. One thing which I have missed is that from Tally ERP 9, now you cannot file your GSTR 1 because that data and the new schema is different. From Tally Prime 2.1 only, you will be able to file your GSTR 1 JSON file. From ERP 9, you cannot file. And then all the activation, if your TSS is not updated, you can update it, and then you can get this Tally Prime latest release. So furthermore, in future, lot of new additions will be done by Tally, keeping in mind all the requirements of the user. Tally has more than 20 million users, and day by day, lot of technological and updation is made. Today, technology is very, very important aspect of life. The biggest challenge with the technology is that the pace at which the technology runs is faster than which was earlier. Earlier, if you see from Windows 7 to Windows 8, it used to take 1 year or 2 years of time. Nowadays, every updation in technology is very, very fast. We don't have a choice. If we don't update with the technology, we will be outdated. So ensure that you get updated with the technology. My one more suggestion is that whenever you are using Tally, if you want more better reports, results, reconciliation to be there, always use Excel. In Excel, I would suggest that try to understand and learn three things. One is the pivot table. Second is the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP or XLOOKUP formula. And third important thing is the Power Query. Power Query is very, very powerful in Excel. Very few of them use it. You can do lot of automated works and reporting using Power Query. I am using Excel again for last 25 years, and from last 2 or 3 years only I am using Power Query. You will not believe that the time which I save while using the Power Query is very tremendous. I use the duties and taxes ledger columnar wise to generate my input and output report and the turnover. Using Power Query, within half an hour, this system is completed. So I would suggest you also to use Power Query in Excel along with the reporting in Tally to generate more reports easier with more ease. Now the floor is open to question and answers. Any question and answers you are having, you can ask me. Either you can type the questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hands so that we will allow you to unmute, and then you can raise the questions.
I've just allowed Anuradha ma'am to mute and speak.
Anuradha madam.
We've got one more question in the Q&A box.
How? No, that already I have answered. No, how to import Excel's file to Tally, ERP, and Prime. That we have to use it using the third-party TDL. Any doubt?
I think there are no more doubts. We will share the session recording. We will do that. All right. Great, sir. Then shall we conclude it, sir?
Yeah, thank you all the participants for your patient listening and giving your valuable time. Thank you all. Okay, how can we take stock journal in TallyPrime? Stock journal can be passed in voucher entry. You can pass stock journal in TallyPrime. Just a second, I'll show you. So go to voucher. In the voucher, other voucher you need to select, and there you have your stock journal in the Alt F7. So stock journal can be passed using this Alt F7 shortcut key. How to convert Excel to Tally? 1 minute. Excel to Tally can be done using the external TDL only. If you have an external TDL, normally what happens is the external TDL will give you a format of data. Say for example, you want to export the sales. So what it will do is it will give you some data. For the purpose of sales, you need to provide the invoice number, invoice date, party name, taxes, all those things you need to provide. And that data you need to import it in the Tally. So that normally happens using the TDL, and the TDL will help you to import it. Can we get TDL report in browser after along with the default report? I need to check on this. Maybe Ayush maybe help to explain whether TDL reports can house in browser data. How to generate e-way bill? Okay, e-way bill. I have shown in this video how to generate e-way bill in Tally. First, you need to register in the e-way bill portal. Then allow Tally as a ASP Suvidha provider, and then you have to activate the e-way bill in your company. Then you pass the sale entry, provide the user ID password, and automatically e-way bill can be generated. You can see the recorded lecture of this part to explain what it is. Shall we maintain short supply of material list? Short supply of material list in the sense, I did not understand. See, whether short supply, can you, if you want, I can unmute you, raise your hand, I will inform you. default report as of now?
Anthony,
Yeah,
sir, you can.
yeah, tell me,
Hello.
Anthony. Yeah,
Hi, sir. Good evening.
yeah, good evening.
Sir, for me,
Uh,
we need to maintain a short supply of materials. Means we build for 100 quantity, but we
okay,
supplied only 90 because the time we don't have stock, we supplied 90 only.
but billing,
So
how
rest
much you
of
do?
100 we updated.
In billing, you provide 100.
Ah,
That is wrong, no?
wrong. But sometimes if we update it like that, we can maintain like that. 10 short supplies for that bill will be there like that.
No, no, no.
Yes.
See, what actually, if you are supplying 90, you can bill for 90. Okay.
Hmm.
In case you want to track this, what you can do is you can use the purchase order method.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So, or sales order method. In the sales order, how much order you have received, create a sales order for that.
Okay.
Okay. Say you have created a sales order for 100 units. Now, you raise an invoice for the 90 units.
90 only.
Give the reference of that sales order. Then in the sales order, you will find out that 10 units
Pending.
yeah, that will be the better method. That a shortage of supply will not be possible,
Okay.
and it will be complicating even in GST. And while you are transporting the material, all those things will be there.
Okay. One more thing, sir. Sorry. Same way. Example. Okay. Example like one laptop and mouse and keyboard. Three things I need to send. When I'll send, mouse will be damaged when it will be reached.
Okay.
So, but I agreed to customer. I'll replace for that.
Okay.
That one I'll show a short supply like that.
No, it is not short supply. If the mouse is being damaged, what you will do? You will give a return.
But
Hello?
one content, yes, yes, I am understanding.
That goods is returned back. So for that, you need to first raise a credit note.
That one, okay.
Okay. Then again, when you supply again, you have to issue a sales invoice.
Sales invoice. Okay.
Okay. And then what you have to do is again pass a stock journal. If that mouse is been damaged, then you have to reverse input tax for that. If you are unable to replace again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. How can we file TCS return? TCS return, how is helpful to file TCS return by e-commerce operator? E-commerce operator, TCS return, we can pass the entries for that, but I don't think that return filing for TCS operator is implemented in the this one, GST tally. Can we convert 4.73 version directly to Prime? No. I don't think from 4.73 means you are talking about Tally 9 ERP or any other version. I think you can convert if it is Tally 9 ERP, any version can be converted into TallyPrime. No issues in that. Okay, TDL reports can be accessed in the browser. Fine. Any other doubts?
Sir, in the Q&A box, we've got two.
In the Q&A box, just a second. I created only CGST ledger and SGST ledger. I even okay. This part. Okay, very good, Shanti. See, many people create only one ledger for CGST, SGST, and IGST. That creates a trouble when you do reconciliation, because whenever you see the ledger, it is both debit side and credit side. It creates a lot of confusion. For that also, I use that method of my passing the closing entry. What I do is I debit the CGST and I credit the that is CGST for both input and input entry. But there it takes little time for us to understand what is the difference, because I open the ledger, find out what is the total of the debit side, what amount I have provided in the credit side to find out difference. So that is little manual, but I would suggest that never create a single ledger for input and output. Create minimum 6 ledgers: CGST input, SGST input, IGST input, CGST output, SGST output, IGST output. Otherwise, reconciliation will be a big trouble for you and you will not be able to track. Even after having separate ledgers, sometimes we find it difficult. So better suggestion that create separately. Till now, if you have used, no problem, but have a cutoff date and then you start creating it from the separate ledger for input and output. Okay, how to set up a RCM ledger? Now, to create and set up an RCM ledger, already I said that first you need to activate RCM in the features in the GST feature. So for this, you need to go to the F11 and then there you need to go to the GST part and then select yes. Here you will get an option that enable tax liability on reverse charge as yes. Only once you enable the tax liability on reverse charge yes, then only RCM ledger will be created. Now, once you activate this, just deactivated. Yes, this is activated. So to create a reverse charge ledger, first you need to create a ledger. So create, say for example, ledger freight charges. Okay, already we have freight charges. We'll alter this ledger.
Sir, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, sorry. Sometimes the screen sharing. Extremely sorry. Yeah. Okay, fine. Just once again, I'll just show you. So first you need to press F11 and then select this GST, enter, and this part, that is the enable tax liability on reverse charge, you need to enable, then only reverse charge ledgers can be created. So now I have activated. Next, you need to create a ledger. I already created one ledger, so I'm just altering a ledger, freight charges. So this ledger is RCM where I have to pay RCM. So I created a ledger, freight charges, indirect tax, and set alter statutory details. Yes. Then here GST applicable. Yes. Set alter details. Yes. Enter. Now, don't provide the details here. Don't have always use this option of W. That is Alt W. That is the provide you a better details from date, applicable date. Now here what you need to select the applicable date, then description, HSN SAC code for services, transaction. In transaction, what you need to select is purchase from unregistered dealer taxable. This is what you need to select. Then only what will happen at the time of passing the entry. So purchase from unregistered dealer taxable, I have provided the 5% rate and I have saved it. This is done. Then when I pass the voucher entry, say journal entry F7, journal freight charges, say 15,000 rupees, and then what is the date? 31st. High tech transport 15,000. Right now I go to this display statutory report, GST report, and 3B for the month of March 1/3/18 and 31/3/18. So I passed the entry on 31st March. Here you can see reverse charge applicable on high-tech transaction 15,000 rupees I have passed just now, and then this tax is allowed. Now how to pass a journal entry for this? I have found out that for the month of March 4,500 is the tax liability for RCM. How to provide the entry for this? Go to voucher entry. In right hand side you have this stat adjustment, and then select GST. In this you need to select, it is our increase in liability. So, and increase in input tax credit, because RCM one is increase in liability and other one is increase in input tax credit. So I select this. What is the nature? It is purchase under reverse charge. Then you can pass the entry CGST input, SGST input to RCM payable, and then complete this process. So this is the procedure for RCM. Hope it is clear. When it is activate tax liability on reverse charge feature. I did not understand this question. Maybe the journal entry part you are asking. So any other doubt?
I think we are right on time, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you all for joining for today's session. Thank you so much, Vinodh sir, for that very informative session. I hope our attendees would have gained from it. As always, we will share the recording of the session with you all through email. With this, we will conclude the session. Thank you so much again for joining and have a good day.
Thank you, sir.